Hey, welcome to week 4 of the UNPL. I'm Zan, coach of the Hadres, and I'm happy you're here. If you want to go straight to the battle, I'm going to put the timestamp at the top of the description below. So if you don't want to hear me talk about the team real quick, you can skip straight to the battle. But if you want to hear me talk about the team, I'll throw the two teams on screen. We're playing Tony Torkoal this week, and he has a threatening Sun team. I've noticed a couple things looking back at his battles. He's brought the same team 3 weeks in a row. Not the exact same team. The sets are different. But the Pokemon are the same. So far, a lot of these Pokemon haven't actually shown up, which is interesting to me because it made me want to prep more for the Pokemon he's brought every time, but I couldn't just ignore things like Mamoswine and Corviknight, or they will absolutely run over my team. So, looking at the screen, here's what I'm bringing today. I'm not going to go over the opponent like every Pokemon. I did that last week, and I feel like it drags on. There's no point in explaining what you guys probably already know. So, what I'm bringing is an AV Magearna. I think Iron Head with a little bit of attack investment. We've got Flare Cannon, we've got Volt Switch, and last move was a Flex Slot. I just did Draining Kiss, keep ourselves healthy against something like Bonnet that we can heal up on. I thought that was a decent idea. We have Mono Rock move, Lycanroc. He has no Rock resist outside of a Terra, and Lycanroc, we don't want to sweep our own team with close combat with his Ditto. So I figured I'd run Excel Rock. I think we're Rock Tomb, Stone Edge, Rock Slide. It's just to be funny. We really only need Excel Rock and like Stone Edge, but it's goofy. We've got our lead Ceruledge with Focus Sash. It's Terrafire Armor Cannon. He has pretty much no resist to it except Walking Wake and Torkoal. Torkoal gets 2-shot anyway. Walking Wake gets 2-shot by Psychic. So regardless, we're leading with this. We're punching as much as we can. If Brute Bonnet comes in, we Destiny Bond and we get it stuck in this fun little trap where it either has to eat a big hit or it has to double down with us. We've got a Curse Muck with Shukaberry. I was really, was all over the place with this item. I thought Safety Goggles could work. I thought Moringa Berry could work. Black Sludge, obviously not bad. But I ended up going Shukaberry because I think Mamo and Terra Ground Venu are two of the things that can really threaten it. And being able to hit them back at least once is really valuable to me. And especially if we only get a +1, Mamo comes in to revenge us. We live it, Drain Punch into Shadow Sneak with Poison if we get Poison Touch. It KOs him back, and trading Muck for Mamo is huge. We've got Scarf, speed boosting in case he brings Sun. Roaring Moon, it just helps us outrun everything that's not a Scarf Flutter main. Dual Stab, Iron Head, U-Turn. Not a whole lot to say about that one. He's just here to make sure we don't get swept. And then we've got a Dual Stab, Sub Encore Quaquaval with Leftovers. A lot of his team likes to status or doesn't really like to hit Quack directly, and we've got enough bulk to live certain hits with Sub, like from Torkoal. So feeling pretty good about the Quaquaval set. Encore just stops him from ever Iron Defense Corviknighting us to death. So feeling all right about this team. We're going to go ahead, search for our opponent, and we will see you in the battle. Oh, and we found our opponent. Good luck, have fun to Tony. He has not yet sent me his Terra Captains. I just sent him mine. He did switch up the team, which is good to see. I think he may have been traveling or something, so they might have been part of it. So no Glalie, which I don't think anybody's surprised. No Zebstrika, no Exeggutor, no Ambipom, no Brute Bonnet. He was really liking the Brute Bonnet. And no Ditto. Okay, well, I prepped a little too hard for Ditto, so that's a little frustrating. I really wanted to bring Ursaring this match because I feel like it did so well week 1 and we haven't brought it since. There's just always better Pokemon to bring, sadly. It all depends on his Terra on Venu. I'm assuming ground, but he hasn't told me yet. I would kind of like to know. My team is very ground weak, though, so it would make sense. I didn't bring any immunities. Terra Ground Venusaur. Okay, good to know. So we're going to click Done. Mamoswine and Corviknight. Okay, and we know that Venusaur is ground. Leads with the Mamo. So, if I'm not mistaken, we one-shot this. With Terrafire, we always one-shot this, so unless he's Sash lead, or AV, I guess, he just gets blown up. We could Flame Charge, but he could Earthquake Ice Shard us, so I want to get as much damage off as possible. So, we're not playing around this week, and I didn't really know a good, 6 Pokemon to bring. So I was like, when in doubt, make something a Sash lead and just blow something up on the other team, and then you can use the rest of your team to kind of solve the rest of the battle, right? After you get some damage down. So we'll see if he's faster here. He is faster. Hits me with an Earthquake. We are Focus Sash Weak Armor. I'm fully expecting him to be Ice Shard. I don't think there's any real reason for him not to be. Although we have seen some of our opponents not bring priority in the past. I think Mimikyu didn't run Shadow Sneak, so I'm not sure there. We will fire off an Armor Cannon. This should KO unless he's also Sash. He seems to be also Sash. Okay, so we both went with the Sash lead, which is funny. Now, he could Ice Shard here, but I don't know if he will. Do I want to save this as a sack for anything? Honestly, Mamo was the biggest thing I needed a sack for. So I could just get rid of this, go Lycanroc afterward with Accelerock. Yeah, I think that's probably my best play. So it's fine. I'll go for Flame. Well, if he decides to bring something else in here, I guess I can dump another Armor Cannon. I assume he just Ice Shards. Yeah, he just Ice Shards. That's fine. So Mamo immediately takes down Armarouge, but we did get Mamo to Sash, which is great for us. Did not bring rocks, unfortunately, but I think Lycanroc will pressure him to want to sack this, because if I do set rocks, I don't think he brought removal. Well, he has Torque. No, he brought removal. I will Accelerock. It does big damage to everything because we are banded. And we get, the Tough Claws boost and all that fun stuff. So Armarouge, I kind of wished it a little more, but hey, I think getting Mamo to 1 HP is pretty important with how ground weak we are this week. And I don't know if I would save Mamo as a sack, personally. I mean, maybe he does, but Quaquaval kind of abuses it and gets a free Moxie boost out of it. And he apologized for not sending the Terra early. Tony's a nice guy. I've enjoyed watching his videos. I know he hasn't had the best season. I think he's got a strong team. I think it's just a matter of he was busy and didn't have time to put in the time to build, which is totally cool. So he does switch. This Accelerock will hurt something. Scooby. The Wake. Okay. I don't know if this Quat does half. Almost. Oh, the audio was a little weird there. I hope it wasn't weird on the recording. So it looks like we don't two-shot him, unfortunately. Which is to be expected. Looks like standard Wake. So we've got a couple of switch-ins here. I think Mag is fine. Mag is Mag is less important to deal with Venu, I would say. So I think it's fine. We're AV, Sun's not up, so even if he specs, I don't think he two-shots us. I think I EV'd that correctly. So he's just gonna flip turn. Okay, that's fair. Maybe Mamo comes back in here, which would be annoying. Would be very annoying. But I do think we always live a Mamo EQ, because we know he's not a damage boosting item. We don't live a Mamo. Oh, well, that's Life Orb. We always live one from full, so that flip turn probably puts us in range, unfortunately. That was a good play on Tony's part. Does bring the Mamo back in. So this Mamo is going to be annoying. We pretty much have to sack something here. Does Moon live an Earthquake into... Moon does not live an Earthquake into an Ice Shard. What about Quaquaval? We outspeed this. Earthquake's going to do a chunk, but Ice Shard won't knock us out after the fact. This Quaquaval was meant to do a lot here, but I don't want to give up Magearna. So I am just going to go into Quack. His answer to Quack is probably Venu. Could be Corviknight. Does set rocks, which, totally fair. Good play. Honestly, he's playing me really well right now. Could definitely Aqua Step here to get a free boost, but I could also sub. See what he wants to bring into the Quaquaval. I do kind of like the Aqua Step to go ahead and get a speed boost, though, and then we can sub next turn. Makes me think the Wake might be Scarfed with how he flip turned. So I will just go for the Aqua Step. He does switch. Could be Corviknight. If it's Corviknight, I'm going to sub. Okay, it is Corviknight. Let's see if he is Helmet. Because if he U-turn... Okay, he's Pressure. So it wants to stall me out. We'll Aqua Step. It does very little. We get a speed boost. Doesn't look to be Helmet. Okay, it is Helmet. So that's fine. We show leftovers. That was very physically defensive. I mean, I know it's a Corviknight, so it's kind of meant to be physically defensive, but still. So I will sub once. He could Brave Bird here, for sure. But I think with how he's been playing with the pivoting, he might U-turn, he might Iron Defense. So I think subbing gives us a better chance at catching him off guard. So we'll set a sub. He U-turns. Okay, so we'll get momentum off this because our sub will not be broken. He could just go straight back into this, and that's fine. Corby made a lot of sense in my team. I have so much physical offense, and I gave up my best way to blow up Corviknight, which is not fantastic. He set rocks, but I don't think we brought any other rock weeks this week, so the chip's annoying, but not the end of the world. Brings in Brute Root, the Venusaur. I mean, I guess I just CC this. Because he's definitely not going to Terra ground in front of me. So I can CC for 30%. And I will do just that. He could switch back into Corviknight, which would be fine. Doesn't. I could have had Ice Spinner and done a big chunk to this, but I just didn't see... I didn't have room for it, honestly. So he'll hit us. He'll break our sub here no matter what. Sludge Bomb, so may not even have grass coverage. Brought Poison coverage, which is surprising to me. I almost brought Fairy Ursa because I was so sure he wouldn't bring Poison coverage, so that's kind of funny. So we'll get back up to slightly healthy. Magearna definitely always eats one from this. Muck does too, but Muck also... Did he just show leftovers? I'm pretty sure he just showed leftovers. So this should not do very much to Muck, but the thing is, can Muck do much to it? Even if he's Terra Ground, Earth Power... Yeah, it's not doing half to Muck on the first hit. Magearna's taking... Well, yeah, it's doing about half. Not a great situation to be in. I could go Roaring Moon, kind of be aggressive with it. Yeah, because he's doing not... I'm looking at Life Orb. He's definitely not Life Orb. I'm going to go into Roaring Moon. I'm going to try to be a little aggro. Because he seems like he's at least slightly defensive. So he doubles, which is fine. I could get either a knock or U-turn off here. Goes into the Mammo. So Ice Shard would hurt, but I am just going to U-turn. I don't mind the Ice Shard. I know it's going to do like half. Yeah, that's Life Orb. I don't know why. Everything in the default calc is Life Orb, I swear. Yeah, Ice Shard's doing 50 to 60%, so we're not going to have a whole lot of rock switch-ins after this. But I will just go for a U-turn. Does just Ice Shard for the chip. But we do get to get rid of Mammo, and we don't get 6-0'd, which is great. So Mammo drops, and we can go into something that has a decent matchup into the rest of his team. So Torkoal, Walking White Venusaur, Fluttermane, Corviknight. What has a good matchup into all of those Pokemon? Not much. I mean, this brings in Wake again. Muck. What does Muck bait in? Not Flutter. He doesn't have Mammo to hit this anymore. So it's just like Torkoal or Corviknight. Flutter. Yeah, I don't want Flutter to come in for free, for sure. So I do think I will go back to Magearna, because that's a pivot into anything else. I can definitely eat a hit. If you understand the references of the nicknames, you also like a great book series that's getting more popular by the day, I think. So, congrats. So, we haven't really learned that much about his team. He's been pivoting around pretty effectively. Definitely could go Torkoal here. We're actually minus speed this week, so that our Iron Head would one-shot Flutter. Does go into Torkoal. Tina Torkoal. I like that. Gets his Sun up. I am just going to Volt Switch. He doesn't have a way to stop it. Then options are Quaquaval. And Quack can go for a sub, but if he Will-O-Wisp here, we're sad. We could go Muck, but we don't want to get burned on that either. I think Quaquaval is our play. He may Solar Beam. If he hard reads this, then you got me incredibly good. But I think this is like my only realistic switch in right now. Flamethrowers, we can see how much that does. It does 110. Does not get the burn. Is that just invested? Okay, it's just max special attack Torkoal. So if he's like no defense in that case, I mean CC's doing like 25%. I'm just gonna Aqua Step once. Yeah, so he stays in. I could have subbed on the Solar Beam, but I did not. I could have encored the Flamethrower, but that also didn't seem great. Yeah, so he does Solar Beam. He will KO Quack here. I'm not playing great this morning. I have no excuse. Other than I may need more coffee. But Quaquaval was kind of in a stalemate versus Venusaur anyway, so it's fine. So he is Flamethrower, Solar Beam, max special attack, presumably. I look at Muck. Flamethrower is doing a lot. Like, I'm kind of surprised at how much damage this guy's doing. I could definitely go into Lycan here. Lycan always KOs him. He's forced to switch into something. Rock Slide 2 hit KOs pretty much everything. KOs Wake on switch in, Veno on switch in, Flutter. Problem being is something comes in after the fact and revenges me in the sun. Something like Venusaur. I could definitely go Moon, but I don't know that a knock actually KOs him. I think it has to be Lycan. Yeah, I think it has to be Lycan, unfortunately. We can see how much health he's at. He is chilling at about 50%. So an Accelerock actually doesn't kill max HP here. So for Rock Slide, I do kind of wish I had CC at this point. It's kind of goofy. Rock Slide's actually not that much stronger than Accelerock, which is kind of sad. But it is what it is. I think after this, he definitely goes into Venusaur and Terra Ground Earth Powers me, or he hard switches out Torkoal to save the sun. So something's eating a Rock Slide here. Corvi may want to take 2 of these. I'm glad I didn't go for Accelerock now because I don't want that extra chip. So we'll go for Rock Slide. We do land. It doesn't quite 2-shot. So what pieces do we need to win? Magearna, obviously pretty great, but not absolutely required. Lycanroc doesn't quite one-shot Flutter from full, where I think setup Muck is our way to victory. It's going to be hard to break the Venusaur. So I think we can probably switch in Magearna here. He might just Roost, in which we could go for the flinch. Yeah, we're just going to have to play for it. Oh, sorry, Tony. Sorry. I really do apologize for that crit. All right, I think we can see if... I think he is Heat Rock here, based on the sun still being up. I apologize for that crit. That definitely mattered. We did have a 30% chance to flinch, so our odds of Corviknight not moving that turn were like over 30%, but the crit was definitely not great for you. So Venu comes in. We can check the field status. Oh no, he's still got 1 turn of sunlight. So we don't have an answer to Venu at this point, unfortunately. I think it's going to have to be give up Magearna. He's going to Terra Ground, Earth Power, Terra Ground, Terra Blast me. Because he was running that. We called him out on that. Earth Power, I think, is strictly better unless you're against like a Defiant Pokemon, but still. So he probably Terra. Hopefully not. Hopefully he goes for like Grass move so that we can stall an extra turn of Sun. But if not, it is what it is. Does Terra Ground, so good there. Okay, he's still running Terra Blast. Tony, run Earth Power, please. It is better in every way than Terra Blast. We live and almost live another, which is crazy. So does that mean he's not invested? Or does that just mean Magearna is an absolute monster? It's doing 126 to 150. So our odds of living here aren't the greatest. Sun is still up, so he does have the Heat Rock on Torkoal. I've got to sack this. I'm sorry, Magearna. I really am not using you correctly this season. So he is Terra Blast. We live on 1! Oh my gosh! The investment was crazy. Flare Cannon doesn't knock him out, but we get him so low that Accelerock is easily a KO on him. What? Magearna, you monster. Oh, it's such a good Pokemon. That's crazy to me. It's funny we didn't knock him out, but also... That must be a defensive Venusaur then, to not knock me out. Or it was an incredibly low roll. So he will Terra Blast again. If we look at Torkoal, we know he's Heat Rock. We know that he is like Flamethrower. So if we went into Lycanroc and Accelerocked here, are we guaranteed to knock him out? Yes. Assuming he didn't go back into yellow health here. That was a crazy live. So we've seen everything except Flutter at this point, at least for a second. Is this what we can set up Muck on? Because we could get to +1 based on the calcs. Earth Power is still doing 50%. I don't think that's right. It says Earth Power is still doing 40%, which is kind of crazy. I could go Moon here and just go for 2 knocks. I'm going to go Howler. I think the Accelerock chip is enough. I don't want to give away the Muck set, but I also don't have too much left to set up on, which is a little annoying. So this should always be KO unless he's full defense investment. I'm looking at max. Well, I'm not looking at max health. It should KO. It's a little tighter than I thought it would be. This might have been a throw. I kind of ran out of time there. I wanted to set up Muck, but I'm seeing so much more damage than I thought it would do. Because we are... Oh, I didn't fix my Muck set. I'm so stupid. I didn't have Shuka on my calc. Yeah, the ground move would have only done 20% to Muck, and we could have got a free curse into Shadow Sneak and been set to maybe win. So Accelerock does take the KO. So what does Muck set up on now is the question. That was a huge throw on my part. If I lose this game, it's because I didn't go into Muck there to set it up. So we'll take the Vino. So we've got a Flutter, Awake, and a Torkoal left. And Sun just ended. So Torkoal possibly comes in here to reset Sun. Scarf Moon looks decent here. Ironhead should always KO Flutter. Dragon Move should always KO Wake. Definitely always KOs Wake after the Accelerock chip. And we definitely outspeed both. So we can always claim a KO. The problem is the moves don't hit each other. So Torkoal comes back in, presumably as a Sun sack, which is fine because then he has to take Accelerock on something else. He could Solar Beam me here. He's not max defense, we know that, because he's max special attack, which is an insane bring. So Accelerock might KO. I could go Muck. I mean, Muck is not having fun in the 1v1. Yeah, Flamethrower, like, is rough. So we're just going to Accelerock again. We take the KO. Okay, that's good. That could have been a roll. That was a little scary. So Torkoal goes down. So now he either has to take, like, 80% on Flutter or, like, another... Okay, he's going to take another 40% on Wake. He gets the Proto. Is it special attack or speed? Special attack boost. Okay, not scary at all. So he's probably max. I think I'm forced to Accelerock here again. And then maybe Ironhead just cleans the game. Okay, so Accelerock knocks him down to like 10 to 15%. Obviously, Hydro's team does like a ridiculous amount of damage to us. So the question now is against against Walking Wake, Muck in the Sun, if he is special attack boosting specs, we always live 1, even through Stealth Rock chip. So thank me for calculating that correctly. We Shadow Sneak. It should KO. Chance to poison if it doesn't. And we KO on the next one for sure. And then Roaring Moon cleans up with an Ironhead. Because I don't know that Roaring Moon... Yeah, the calc on this with Ironhead is not great. And Muck doesn't one-shot Flutter with Shadow Sneak. So we should always live a Hydro Steam. The Sun keeps going away on my calc. Yeah, so should be okay. Can hope. I'm just gonna Shadow Sneak because we want the chip because Ironhead would clean it up. Okay, so we don't KO. Don't get the poison. We are 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 on the Poison Touch Poison, but we also don't get KO'd, which is great. So one more Shadow Sneak will knock him out. We're getting more KOs for Muck. Our kill leader is going to be our 4-point poison at this point, which is not how I expected this to be, but it is what it is. So now Fluttermane, I think the only set that wins is Max Speed Choice Scarf, because that would outrun Moon. And in that case, we should have saved Muck's health. But I think we bet against all the sets except one, instead of betting on one set that completely cleans us here. So here comes Flutter. Shadow Sneak's gonna do a clean, like, almost half. Are you Speed Booster? You're Speed Booster, so the only way you beat me is Scarf Moonblast. And if you're Scarf Moonblast, you got me. And I had to bet against it, because Scarf Moonblast will outrun Moon. Every other Moon set outruns Flutter. So yeah, we do about that 40%. We actually get the Poison Touch for once, which is completely irrelevant here unless he's like Babiri Berry. He Moonblasts. That scares me. That makes me think he's Choice Scarf. If he's Choice Scarf, then, oh man, we bet wrong. So he will take Poison Chip. Iron Head always KOs through Babiri, so you don't have to worry about clicking knockoff or anything. And yeah, it's just a matter, are you Choice Scarf or not? And if you're Choice Scarf, are you max speed? Because I guess you'd have to be. So we'll get Proto Speed here. Yep. Moonblast does 300% to us, so... You're not Scarf. Okay, woo! We won that game barely. I did not play that well at all, I feel like. But we came out with a win at the end. Ugh, that was a tough one. Like, Tony's record isn't great, but he's not he's not far off from absolutely destroying everyone in this league. I think maybe just cleaning up those low tiers, and he is just gonna... He could easily make a comeback. I know he's down, I think, 0-4 at this point, but still, he has a terrifying team. And that was a really good game. GG's to my opponent. Barely came through with the Scarf Moon. I'm really glad we had that contingency in the back. We had a lot of priority. We just weren't ever going to let Fluttermane come in comfortably. Definitely really fortunate with the Rock Slide flinch on Corviknight. If it had went for a body press there and knocked out Lycanroc, I think we'd lose the game. Maybe, though, if Lycanroc was gone, I would have brought Muck in on the Venusaur. I would have set up a Curse, and we could have done a lot more damage before going down with the Muck. I think we could have at least taken Torkoal with us, got some chip on Flutter. So who knows how the game would have went, is what I'm trying to say. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like, subscribing. We do want to eventually get to 1K. I've got other videos coming out, hopefully soon. I'm horrible at procrastinating, especially with work going on. But yeah, we will see you all hopefully next week, maybe a little sooner with a new video.